Hi friends, Prepared Suburbanite here. Today is Friday, September the 10th, 2021. And I wanted to do it's actually one of the most perfect weather days we've had since last spring. It's absolutely beautiful. We had a ton of rain yesterday. Flash flood warnings and all kinds of stuff, and the front passed through after the storm, and the humidity went away, the temperature dropped, and it's absolutely beautiful right now. It's about 65 and sunny, not a cloud in the sky. It's absolutely wonderful. But here's the topic of today's video. A few days ago I published a video called Rethinking My Prepper Plan, and I got a comment that I believe deserves a video response to. And here's the comment. I'm not going to mention who did it, but you can go look it up if you want. Here's the comment. I never realized until now how fearful preppers are. Everything you mentioned in that video was based solely on fear. Stick around, I've got a response. So in that video, I mentioned some of the risks and threats that I've identified when I put my original prepping plan together, and how those risks and threats have changed over the last 10 years or so. And I mentioned things like global conflict, wars, floods, natural disasters, that kind of stuff, and how I built my original prepping plan and how I've modified my prepping plan for the future. And to have this kind of a comment coming up saying it's all based on fear, and never realized how fearful preppers really are, to me it's a pretty simple equation. You look at anything you've got in life, and you look at the risks, you look at the threats, you look at the rewards, and you make a decision on which way you want to go. So let me give you a couple of examples here. I own a home, and it's free and clear now. We paid off the mortgage a couple of years ago, and it's just absolutely wonderful. I have continued to carry homeowners insurance, both for liability and damage and stuff like that. No requirement that I have to do that, but there's a certain level of risk and a certain level of threat. You can see behind me that there's lots of big trees around, all kinds of stuff that could happen. We have had trees fall on the house and did a little bit of damage, not too awful much. But I invested some money making sure that the trees around the house, those that were within striking distance, we took care of them. We took them down, chopped them up into firewood, and used them for heat. So with that said, I think it's just being simply responsible to me, my family, and my investment in my homestead. Second idea, I've got an automobile. It's a Jeep Wrangler. It's also free and clear. Don't owe a nickel on it, and therefore there's no requirement to cover comprehensive and collision. There is a state requirement here in North Carolina that I have to have a minimum of two things. First is liability insurance. That, General Statute 20-309 here says that minimum I've got to have $30,000 worth of coverage for bodily injury, got to have, for a single individual, 60,000 for 2 or more individuals, bodily injury, property damage to 25,000, and I also have to have insurance to protect against uninsured. So I guess that sort of makes sense. But the law requires that I do that. So you look at the risk and the reward, and you say, you know, stuff can happen. Yeah, I really need that. I'm carrying a lot more than just the minimums that are required by law. But when you bundle your insurance with your house and your car together, you can save a few bucks. And that's what we did. I think it's absolutely responsible to have insurance coverage on both the house and the car. It just makes sense to protect myself from visible risks and visible threats. Life insurance. During my working career, while I was raising a family, and while we were raising a family, we had life insurance. And the life insurance was really a kind of a future income protection thing. So if anything were to happen to me or to my wife, there would be an insurance policy that would provide us with X number of dollars should either one of us pass away, so that we'd have the money to continue our lives independent of whatever kind of calamity was going to happen. So is it based on fear? Well, yeah, I guess I'm a little afraid of dying. I don't want to. I'd like to live for a long, long time, but I do believe that there's a future for us. So I'm not totally afraid of passing away. But it's not based on fear. It's based on being responsible. And yeah, I don't need it now. I don't have life insurance now. I've got enough cash in the bank that I can get buried. The future income is all set the way we've got our finances set up. Either one of us is going to be fine without the other, much better when we're together. But the cost of life insurance at my age is it's not warranted given the level of risk and threat. So there it is. Health insurance is another thing that you got to look at, that I had to look at from an insurability standpoint. Thankfully, I qualify for Medicare. I worked enough quarters during my life to be able to qualify for Medicare. Also invested in supplemental so that I could have coverage for the co-pays and co-insurance and deductibles that Medicare Part A and Part B don't cover. And, I have some risk because of my age, because of my medical history. I'm pushing 70 years old. I have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, very low level. Don't have to do the finger pricks every day, but I do monitor my A1C on a regular quarterly basis with my physician. All that. I do have high blood pressure, and I'm taking medications for that. I am a cancer survivor. I had cancer. Last bout was about 10 years ago. First time was about 20 years ago. I also have resident kidney stones. So pretty much anything that can happen at my age, pushing 70, there's a lot of risk. There's a lot of threat. That's why I carry insurance. That's why I pay for the Medicare Part B. That's why I pay extra for the supplemental to cover the deductibles, co-insurance, and co-pays, because it's a responsible thing to do. Yeah, I'm not afraid. I can't live my life being afraid, but I do want to live my life being responsible. So when it's all said and done, Prepping shouldn't be about being afraid of anything. Prepping should be being responsible for yourself, for your family, for your assets, for your investments in your homestead, your land, the people that you love. That's what it's really all about. It's not a matter of fear. And if fear is your driver, you've got to come to grips with that fear somehow. Being responsible, I think, removes any level of fear that's really there that goes beyond the pale. This is the Prepared Suburbanite, reminding you to be prepared always. And I'll see you all on the next video.